Hello, this is Dr. Taruna Bansal, Associate Professor in the Department of Geography, Jamia Millia Islamia, and today I will be discussing islands of India. Island is an airy area or land smaller than a continent and entirely surrounded by water. Islands may occur in oceans, seas, lakes or rivers. A group of islands is called an archipelago, generally formed of the following types. That means what I will discuss is the following types are the islands. The number one is the continental island. Continental islands are simply unsubmerged part of the continental shelf that are entirely surrounded by water. These islands were formerly a part of the mainland and now got detached from the continent by a shallow lagoon or a deep channel. The rise in sea levels then submerged the low-lying areas that connected them. The evidence of this is the presence of identical flora and fauna on both sides of the land. The worst example you can cite is Madagascar and Greenland. Second, individual islands. These lie outside the mainland, very much associated with the characteristics of the mainland they were once a part of. Archipelagos. These are groups of islands varying in shapes and sizes. Then we have island arcs. Islands form an archipelago in the shape of a loop around the mainland, marking the continuation of mountain ranges which can be traced on the continent. Oceanic islands. Oceanic islands are those that rise to the surface from the floors of the ocean basins. These are isolated islands that lay thousands of miles away from the mainland. They have flora and fauna different from the nearest mainland. They are usually sparsely populated but are useful stops for the aeroplanes and steamers. Example, Japan, Philippines. Volcanic islands. Many islands are actually the topmost parts of cones of volcanic mountains that rise from the ocean bed. We also have coral islands. These are lower and emerge just above the water surface. These are built by coral animals of various species and are found near the shores of mainland and in the midst of oceans. These are some of the popular tourist destinations of the world. Some of the examples are Lakshadweep, Mauritius, Maldives. Now we come to island formation. Now, as this slide shows, islands form as a result of the movement of the Earth's crustal plates, which are called tectonic plates. Near the junctures between moving plates, earthquakes, volcanic activity, mountain building and oceanic trenches, island formation occurs. They may form along a convergent boundary where a heavier oceanic plate sinks below or a subduct beneath a lighter plate. Islands also form over hotspots, localized areas of upper mantle where magma form from the lower mantle upwards as the result of convection, circulation of heat currents within the earth. Some island chains like Hawaii trace the movement of tectonic plate over a hotspot. Islands are formed in a number of ways. They can be formed due to volcanic eruption like the Hawaiian Islands. They can be formed due to the collision of the continental plates. The collision, pushes the land up, thus creating an underwater mountain that comes above water. This landform, which is surrounded by water, that is known as an island. They can also be formed by deposition of sand due to erosion. There are some man-made islands also, like the island country of Qatar, which was constructed through in many shapes for community habitations. Now we will be discussing islands in India. India, the 7th largest country in the world with a total area of around 31,66,414 kilometers. It is also a country which has a coastline of 7,517 kilometers and extends across 9 coastal states and 2 union territories. Now, the islands, the Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands form the major groups of islands of this country, comprising 36 and 572 islands respectively. The Lakshadweep Islands lie 220 to 440 kilometers off the coast of Kerala in the Arabian Sea, with the area of around 32 kilometers on the western part of the country, while the Andaman and Nicobar archipelagos are situated between 6 degrees to 14 degrees north and longitudes of 92 to 94 degrees east in the Bay of Bengal. Apart from these large groups, we have several small islands which dot the coastline of mainland India and parts of territories of various states and union territories. Many of these islands are protected areas such as Choroa Island, Goa, which is a bird sanctuary, and Lothian Island Wildlife Sanctuaries, Halliday Island Wildlife Sanctuary, which are part of Sundarbans Biosphere Reserve. A few of them, like Sagar Island, located in West Bengal, and the Cochin group of islands in Kerala, also support large human population. Many of these coastal islands are tourist attractions, with Sagar Island, Elephanta Island, Murud Janjira in Maharashtra and Pirotan Island in Gujarat, which are being visited by thousands of people every year for observing the island's historical and natural wealth. Now we can discuss the classification of island. So first we will discuss the Bay of Bengal island group. The Bay of Bengal island groups consist of about 572 islands or islets. These are situated roughly between, as I already said, 6 degrees north to 14 degrees north, 92 degrees east to 94 degrees east. The two principal groups of islands include the Ritchie's archipelago and the Libritz Island. The entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories: the Andamans in the north and Nicobars in the south, and you can see them on the photographs provided here. They are separated by a water body which is usually called the 10-degree channel. It is believed that these islands are an elevated portion of submarine mountains. However, some volcanic mountains or some volcanic activity has also resulted in the formation of smaller islands called like Barren Island. It is the only active volcano which is situated in India. The Andaman group of islands include 204 islands, the major among them being the Great and Little Andamans. The Great Andamans are separated by narrow creeks into the North Andamans, Middle Andamans, South Andaman, Barangtang and Rutland Islands. In addition, there are two more volcanic islands called Barren Island and the Narcodan Island, situated within 80 kilometers of Andamans. Andaman Islands have been formed by the extension of the tertiary mountain chain of Arakan Yoma. The Nicobar group. The Nicobar group island consists of 18 islands, of which Car Nicobar, Chowra, Teresa, Bomka, Kamotra, Trincut, Nankauri, Kashthal, Little Nicobar, Great Nicobar are inhabited, and the remaining 7, namely Batimalav, Tengchong, Miro, Track, Thrice, Mainchel and Kabra are uninhabited. Various areas of these islands are strictly off limits to tourists, as they are tribal areas and tribal people are living there. Now, tourism is one of the major industry of Andamans. Bulk of the revenue earned by the government of Andaman and Nicobar Island is through the tourism industry. They are one of the most picturesque islands one can visit if he is or she is in India. Now we come to the second group of islands called the Arabian Sea Islands. Now, Arabian Sea Islands, these include Lakshadweep and Minicoy. These are scattered, as I already said, between 8 degrees north to 12 degrees north and 71 degrees east to 74 degrees east longitude. They are located nearly at the distance of around 280 kilometers to 480 kilometers of the Kerala coast. The entire island group is built of coral deposits. There are approximately 36 islands, of which only 11 are inhabited. Minicoy is the largest island. The group of entire of these islands is broadly divided by the 11th degree channel, north of which is the Emini Island and to the south is the Kannur Island. The islands of this archipelago have storm beaches consisting of unconsolidated pebbles, shingles, cobbles and boulders on the eastern seaboard. The coastal line has some coral deposits and beautiful beaches. These islands receive convectional rainfall and have an equatorial type of vegetation. Offshore islands. Besides these Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal islands, India has number of islands along the western and eastern coasts, in the delta region of Ganga and in the Gulf of Mannar. Among the western coast islands, mention may be made of Piram Island, Bhaisala, which is in Kathiawar, Diu, Veda, Nora, Pirtan, Karunbari, Khadibet, Aliabit, which is in the Aliabit is the mouth of Narmada and Tapti river, Butchers, Elephanta, Karanja, Salsette, Cross is near Mumbai, Bhatkal, Pigeoncock, St. Mary is along the Mangalore coast, Anjidev along the Goa coast, Waipin near Kochi, Pamban, Crocodile, Aduna is at the Gulf of Mannar, Sriharikota is at the mouth of Pulicat Lake, Porikud, mouth of Chilika Lake, South Wheeler is now the mouth of Mahanadi and Brahmani river, New Moor and Sagar. Sagar is basically the Ganga delta. You can see some of the pictures here. Many of these islands are uninhabited and are administered by the adjacent states. The major groups you can see here, like how these islands are so picturesque and how they have become one of the major tourist spots of India. The major island groups of India, as I already said, Andaman and Nicobar Island, in Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep Island in the Arabian Sea. So, now we again discuss the Andaman Islands in detail, because we have to know these are the major tourist spots. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands, as I already stated, are popularly known as Bay Islands, which are situated in the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal is one of the major seas which is between peninsular India and Myanmar, spreading like a broken necklace in the north-south direction. Now, the total geographical area is around 8,000 square kilometer, where nearly 6,400 square kilometers is covered by Andaman, while Nicobar group covers 1841 square kilometers. They represent a typical tropical ecosystem that includes an endless stretch of tropical rainforests bordered by mangrove swamps and unspoiled fragile marine biota exhibiting an extreme degree of endemism. The maximum altitude of these islands is 730 meters at Saddle Peak in northern Andaman, formed mainly of sandstone, limestone and clay. Two islands of volcanic origin which I already mentioned are Narcodam and the Barren Island. Narcodam is apparently extinct, but the Barren Island is still an active volcano. They are separated by 10-degree channel which is about 150 kilometers wide. The population includes 6 particularly vulnerable tribal groups which have been named as PVTGs. The indigenous people of Andamans are the Great Andamanis, the Jarawars, the Onges and the Santhalese tribes. They are the most isolated of all the groups. The indigenous people of Nicobars, which are absolutely unrelated to the Andamanis, are the Nicobaris, the Shompen. The Andaman wood pigeon, Andaman Paduk and Dugong are declared as state bird, state tree and state animal respectively. This archipelago, which is one of the greatest destinations, is composed of 265 big and small islands, and they are, like as already mentioned, they are divided into 3 main islands: north, middle and south. Duncan Passage separates Little Andaman from South Andaman. The Great Andaman, which is separated from Nicobar group by 10-degree channel, has Port Blair as its capital, and it lies in South Andaman. Among the Nicobar Islands, the Great Nicobar is the largest. It is the southernmost island and is very close to Sumatra Island of Indonesia. The Car Nicobar is the northernmost. Most of these islands are made of limestone and shale and are resting on basic and ultra basic volcanoes, which is very much similar to the formation of Himalayas. The Barren and Nakudam Islands, which are in the north of Port Blair, are the volcanic islands, and they are not, they are the active volcanoes. There are no active volcanoes in the mainland India. These are the only volcanoes India has. Some of the islands have fringes of coral reefs, while most of them are covered with thick forests. Most of these islands are mountainous. We have, as I said, Saddle Peak as the highest peak. The best time to visit Andamans is usually when there are no rains. Andaman is blessed with pleasant tropical climate, so one can plan our travel throughout the year. Minimum and maximum temperature ranges between 23 degrees to 38 degrees Celsius. Humidity is on higher side, 70 to 90%. However, the gentle sea breeze always makes its presence felt to keep the extreme heat at bay. If one is planning a trip during the monsoon season in July and August, one should not forget to pack your rear gears. As I said, the rainy season is not so suitable for tourists who want to visit Andamans. With strong winds, frequent rain and low visibility underwater, the monsoon is not the best season, because we will not be able to do snorkeling and scuba diving, which you would like to do in the beautiful sea which is there. November to April is regarded as the best season and the peak season to visit, but one should avoid this period if one is looking for a quiet vacation. And as I have already said, you can see the pictures out here, that how beautiful these islands are, and one can actually enjoy all the sea activities out here. Now when we talk of Andaman Islands, usually people don't talk of Nicobar Islands, but here when we are saying as a tourist spot, because we need to understand that they are two different categories, the Andamans in the north and Nicobars in the south, and a separate water body divides these. The Andaman Islands, as said, have Great Andamans, the North Andamans, and you can see here also the Great Andamans, the South Andamans, the Middle Andamans, North Andamans, and the Little Andaman. The Little Andaman is separated from the Great Andamans by the Duncan Passage. The Lakshadweep Island and the Minicoy Island, they are situated in the Arabian Sea, and they were earlier known as Lakadiv, Mikinoy and Aminidevi Islands. They were named Lakshadweep Islands and it was adopted on 1st of November 1973. They are separated from one another by very narrow straits. Straits are water bodies which are very narrow. They are a group of, they are union territory and are administered by the president through a lieutenant governor. It is the smallest union territory of India, and Kavarati is the administrative capital. It is also the principal town of this union territory. It is a uni-district union territory and comprises 12 atolls, 3 reefs, 5 submerged banks and 10 inhabited islands. The name Lakshadweep in Malayalam and Sanskrit means 100,000 islands. They, since they are located near the Kerala coast, the best way of going to this island is through Kerala. These islands are part of reunion hotspot volcanism. The entire Lakshadweep island group is made of coral deposits. Fishing is the main occupation of people living here. They have storm beaches consisting of unconsolidated pebbles, shingles, cobbles. Minicoy Island, which is located at the south of 9-degree channel, is the largest one. Now, there is also a 8-degree channel which separates Minicoy and Maldives. 9-degree channel separates the island of Minicoy from main Lakshadweep archipelago. In this region, there is an absence of forest. At present, these islands are collectively known as the Lakshadweep Islands. There are about 25 smaller islands also, but which are widely scattered along the Kerala coast. Amindevi Islands are the northernmost, while Nicobar Islands are the southernmost. All of these tiny islands are of coral origin and are surrounded by fringy reefs. The largest and the most advanced one is the Nicobar Islands. They have low elevation and does not rise more than 5 meters above sea level. They are extremely vulnerable to sea level changes. Their topography is flat and relief features such as hills, streams, valleys are absent. In this Arabian Sea, therefore, we have 3 major types of islands. Amindevi Islands, consisting of 6 main islands of Amini, Keltan, Cheltat, Kadmat, Bitra and Perumalpar. Lakadiv Islands, consisting of 5 major islands of Androth, Kalpeni, Kavareti, Pitti and Sohalipur, and Nicobar Islands. Other than the above mentioned, some of the important islands which we can see in our country are the Majuli Island, which is located in the state of Assam. It is a large river island in the Brahmaputra river. Rather, it is the world's largest river island. It is the island's India's first island district. If you want to experience the breathtaking sunset and sunrise over the moss-filled land touching the horizon, one must visit this place. If you want to taste the northeastern cuisine instead of seafood, and then this captivating island will give you a fair taste of that within the Assamese culture. October to December is the best time to explore the Majuli Island. The second one is the Salsette Island, which is in Maharashtra state on India's west coast. The metropolis of Mumbai, formerly known as Bombay, the city of Thane and Mira Bhayandar rely on this one, making it a very populous island and one of the most densely populated island in the world. The third one, Sriharikota Island, a barrier island which is located between Loktak Lake and Bay of Bengal in the Nellore district in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It is one of the state launching, satellite launching stations of Indian Space Research Organization. Aliabhat Island, first offshore oil well site in Gujarat, about 45 kilometers from Bhavnagar. It is in the Gulf of Khambet. New Moor Island, also known as Purbasha Island, it is an island in the southern Sundarban Deltaic region, and it was a bone of contention between India and Bangladesh. In 2010, it was reported that it has submerged, but it has submerged due to global warming. Then we also have a Pamban Island, which is located between India and Sri Lanka in the Gulf of Mannar and in the Ramanathapuram district of state of Tamil Nadu. It is also known as Rameshwaram Island and is separated from mainland India by the Pamban Channel. Most of the land here is covered with white sands, coconut and palm trees. Abdul Kalam Island. This is a Wheeler Island near the Odisha coast and was renamed as Abdul Kalam Island in 2015. It is India's most advanced missile testing site. It is a missile launching station in Bay of Bengal. The first successful land-to-land test of the Prithvi missile was conducted from the mainland, and it landed on the then uninhabited Wheeler Island on November 30, 1993. The island was named earlier after an English commandant, Lieutenant Wheeler. Diu and Daman. Diu Island is famous for historical Diu fort and beautiful beaches. It is an island situated slightly off the coast of Kathiawar near the port of Veeraval in Gujarat with a coastal length of around 21 kilometers. It is bounded by Gir, Somnath and Amreli district of Gujarat in the north and by the Arabian Sea from 3 sides. It is connected to the mainland via 2 bridges. Diu Island is an apt place to experience a dream vacation of your life. Make sure to visit this island between March to July when summer prevails and a lot of water sports and beach activities are held in which you can take an active part and make your vacation a wonderful experience. The best part of Diu is that it is well connected with almost all the major cities of Gujarat. Next we have Srirangam Island. Srirangam Island is a riverine island which is located in Tirunelveli city. It is formed between the Kaveri and the Kolidam rivers. The great and grand Aniket is located to the east of the island. Srirangam is an important Hindu Vaishnavite pilgrimage center. Cubil Island, it is again a riverine island which is located in Tamil Nadu, formed by Asaya River and one of its tributaries. During British time, a European cemetery was built here. Now we come to the Sagar Island. It is the westernmost island of the Ganges Brahmaputra Delta. West Bengal state lies at the mouth of the, in West Bengal, it lies at the mouth of the Hooghly River. In January, visitors can visit the Sagar, the Ganga Sagar Mela, which is held here near the Kapil Muni temple in the honor of the legend. One can also check out Sagar Beach and Sagar Lighthouse. Halliday Island. It is located in the state of West Bengal and is part of the Sundarbans area. It is located in the river Malta and is also a wildlife sanctuary. Then we have the Fumides or the floating islands, which are located in the Loktak Lake. From Manipur's capital, it is about just 50 kilometers. We also have Sendra Island, which is also a floating island, and it is called ring shaped landmass called Fumti, which are made up of basically organic waste, mainly the clumps of matted weeds. The lake is home to many such masses of matted weeds, some large enough to accommodate large families in huts. The only way to reach or travel hopping is here. The Sea of Islands is by boat, and that is why it is also called Loktak Lake. To get to the lake, however, one needs to travel by road from Impal to Mori, which is a town near the lake, and then to Thanga. The best time to visit this lake and its island is between November and April. One can see here the endangered brown antlered deer or the sangai, which is also known as Manipur's dancing deer, which is indigenous to this area. You may also find other types of deers, primates, rare birds, Indian civet, European otter, wild boar. Other fun activities you can enjoy here are boating and water sports. We come to Adams Bridge. Adams Bridge, also known as Rama's Bridge or Rama Setu, is a chain of natural limestone shoals between Pamban Island, also known as Rameshwaram Island, off the southeast coast of Tamil Nadu, India, and Mannar Island off the northern western coast of Sri Lanka. It is a 48-kilometer long chain bridge of limestone shoals. This particular has an historic, rather mythological importance. New Moor Island. Now, this was also known as New Moor Island in India and South Talpati Island in Bangladesh. It emerged in the Bay of Bengal in the aftermath of the Bhola cyclone, which occurred in 1970. It keeps on emerging and disappearing. It had been created by the delta currents. It was located south of the Haribanga River, now has disappeared due to high rising sea levels. It is a small uninhabited island, offshore sandbar landform in the Bay of Bengal off the coast of Ganga Brahmaputra Delta region. Hope Island. It is a tadpole shaped island which was formed nearly 200 years ago by sand formation in the East Godavari district. It is situated around 10 kilometers from Koriyanga Wildlife Sanctuary and Sri Kukuteshwara Swami Temple. Hope Island in Andhra Pradesh is famous for olive ridley turtles. After 54 carcasses of this species were spotted on the shores of this island. This indicates that the breeding cycle of this species got scarce blows due to the mechanized fishing boats which was used at the Bay of Bengal coastline. It makes the Kakinada post one of the safest posts of the eastern coast of India. Narkodam Island, the easternmost island, is a small volcanic island located in the northern Andaman Sea, which rises to the height of around 710 meters above mean sea level and is formed of andesite. The island is part of the Indian Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Island and has been classified as dormant volcano by the Geological Survey of India. It has been identified as an important bird area by BirdLife International and the Bombay Natural History Society. A significant geographic feature of this island is an importance of magma mixing in the inner arc of the Andaman-Java subduction system. The Barren Island. The Barren Island is as I said, is located in Andaman Sea and is the only confirmed active volcano in the Indian subcontinent. Along a chain of volcanoes from, it's like the volcanoes from Sumatra to Myanmar. A combination of brilliant topography with active volcanoes makes it a perfect tourist destination if one wants to search something extraordinary. The place is famous for scuba diving. You can go sightseeing excursion and get a close-up of the island via ferry or a seaplane along with the exciting volcano. The best time to visit is between November and February. Bhavani Island, situated in the midst of Krishna River at Vijayawada. It is located at the upstream of Prakasam Bridge and is considered one of the largest river islands in India. It has a robotic dinosaur park, garden maze, mirror maze to name some few. Havelock Island. Havelock Island, officially called Swaraj Island, is one of the largest islands in Ritchie's archipelago to the east of Great Andaman within the Andaman Islands. It's a picturesque, beautiful natural paradise with sandy beaches, rich coral reefs and lush green forest. One of the most populated islands of this has an area of around 113 square kilometers. One can actually see the green canopy at one side and in the lush waves and the white waves on the other side. We also have some smaller islands which is like known as the Pitra Island, Maliko Island, we have Kachathivu Island, Kamotra Island, Lothian Island, Srirangapatna Island, Nallatani Tivu, Pirotan Island and also Cochin group of islands. We have Netrani Island, Saint Mary, Diwar, Chorao. I have mentioned all these here, but here you can see, you can have that feeling of these islands over here, that how pictures, see, you can see here how the Andheri Island is very different from Munro Island. So, as a tourist, I can actually feel the different geographical landscape of these islands and how they are part of our country, and we can have a look of the different geographical space, different tourist destinations maybe which we were not known of. As I've already stated that Lakshadweep are coral island, so the formation of Lakshadweep islands is very different from those of Andaman. So naturally the natural scape, the landscape of Lakshadweep will be very different from that of Andaman, and similarly the smaller islands also. So if one wants to visit these islands which are there in our country as tourist destination, we should know which is the best season to go and what exactly we can go and see there, because in some islands we will find that maybe it is of heritage, the heritage importance, some are of tourist importance, some are famous for some particular water sport. So we should have an understanding of these islands, each of these as a particular tourist destination before visiting them. I hope you have learnt a lot about different islands of India which are there in our country and which can be in your bucket list whenever you are planning your next trip as a tourist. Thank you.